Yeah, good evening, everybody. Before I start reading, I'd like to thank the organisers, Omar Valada and David Gardner, for inviting me here to read tonight. It's an honour and a pleasure. I've been looking forward to it for a long time. The first story I'm going to read is from my short story collection, The Short, the Long and the Tall. This came out towards the end of 2010, published by Maryland Press. And this story has a little bit of a golfing theme to it. It introduces two of my favourite characters who appear in a number of stories in the collection, Carruthers and Broderick. They usually appear in some colonial or imperialistic context, so I think this story to some extent represents some of the main themes permeating the collection as a whole. So I'll now read the links. "Nice shot," I said. Carruthers peered into the shimmering distance, the turquoise ocean almost metallic under the sun. "Not bad. Drifting a little to the left. Just hope it doesn't bounce into the jungle." "Looks good to me," I replied. "The glorious 17th," he lectured. "Often the make or break. Always a chance for a hole-in-one here. For the daring, who dares wins, as they say. Hope you're insured, old man." He chuckled. "What's the breeze?" he added. "Always a slight breeze off the ocean." I selected a 5-iron, wiping sweat from my eyes. Late afternoon, the sauna air like a heavy wet towel. Relaxing, I raised the club following through, straight down the centre of the fairway. "Good shot, old man, a good 250 yards. The white dot soared, landing, bouncing a few times. "I think I'm in a little rough to the left," muttered Carruthers. "Didn't quite see where it went." "Monkey him come," said Carruthers' caddy, pointing. "Damn them," Carruthers cursed. A troop of 10 or so Waddell's monkeys loped onto the course, stopping near my ball. A large male picked it up, examining it, then suddenly he threw it away with great ferocity. The troop scattered. A couple of babies ran around, the mother ambling behind. A young male chased them playfully, scooping up the orb. He stared, contemplating, and he began chewing it. Losing interest, he wandered off. "There goes another one," I observed. Carruthers was furious. "Blast them! Here we are, we control the country, but there's nothing we can do about the bloody monkeys." "Well, at least I don't drop a shot," I replied. "Of course," Carruthers agreed. "But if I calculated how many slazengers I've lost in this fashion, I must have gone some considerable way towards helping the company remain profitable." We strolled after the caddies, who showed no fatigue in the crippling heat. Carruthers was furthest from the green in some rough. I saw him stumbling in the long grass, hacking at the vegetation in order to scare away snakes. I stood with my caddy while the furious, stocky figure took his stance, no doubt with a 7-iron. He sliced into the grass, the shot veering wildly to the right. Oaths and curses wafted on the breeze. "Master very angry," said Samson. "Yes," I agreed. "It was the monkeys. Monkeys very bad, sir. Very bad." Samson was grinning, enjoying every moment. I smiled. "Broderick," I heard. "Broderick, damn it! Where in hell's name did it go? The sun was in my eyes." I too was dazzled. The expanse of the Indian Ocean lay to our right, and I had a sinking feeling that the ball had entered its fastness. "I really didn't see, old chap," I shouted. "Sorry." Carruthers strode towards me, holding his arm like a shotgun, his caddy far behind. "If it's any consolation," I said, "look." The monkey had partially eaten the hard coating, rubber bands spewing like guts out of the interior. Frowning, Carruthers puffed on a cigarette. "Well, I lose a shot, seeing as the object of my attentions went its merry way under the depths of Father Neptune, and you are the beneficiary of a local hazard." I selected a new ball, dropping it over my shoulder, as did Carruthers. We played on, both of us reaching the green. I was in for par, and amazingly, Carruthers held a 20-foot putt for a bogey. "Great recovery," I said. "Really tip-top." He smiled. "Lady luck, old chap. I really didn't know which way it was going." We teed for the 18th, the hole far simpler, just straight, par in 4. We both landed on the fairway. "Do you remember Joyce Beef?" asked Carruthers. "Of course," I replied. "And her husband, Charles. A splendid fellow. Did you know she once killed a woman?" No, I replied, wondering how the fourth daughter of the Duke of Argyll might have murdered someone. Carruthers continued. She teed off on the first, right in front of the clubhouse, wonderful shot straight down the centre, and at that precise moment, a native woman emerged from the trees, hit her square in the temple, killed her stone dead. How awful, I said. What happened? Well, Carruthers continued, there was an arrangement. Joyce paid the deceased family £200 thereabouts, a fortune at the time, and the matter was forgotten. Just one of those things. I waited while Carruthers concentrated. He swung, achieving an excellent trajectory, landing near the green. Well done, I said. He was grinning. Thanks. Amazing what it does to one. Sometimes everything hinges on a shot. Strange how these things arrange themselves, I observed. Carruthers laughed. Well, I remember when I was in the Congo before the war. I was playing against Archbishop Guignol, the primate, and he landed in a rhino print in the middle of the fairway. Well, of course, we knew that there were specific rules relating to local challenges of this ilk, and he wouldn't lose a shot, just like you with those blasted monkeys. Still, he was irritated, even if he only needed to chuck the damn thing over his shoulder. For some reason, the monkeys there were never such a problem. I broached to him the relevance of rhino prints at St Andrews, and how this might relate to the adaptation of the church, golf rules being a metaphor, and the game ended there. To my surprise, he became rather angry. We went our separate ways. Yet the more I thought about it, the more significant it became. Really? I quizzed. Carruthers stared. Oh, it was another part of the empire, but surely you remember Maryville, the massacre? Carruthers nodded. They killed the Mother Superior. Take, eat, this is my body. It was all interpreted a little too literally. Good God, I muttered. That's a matter of perspective, said Carruthers cheerily. Your shot. I hit with all my might, landing on the green. Lovely, he joked. You're up for a birdie. Some sustenance in the 19th? 7th heaven, I yelled. Samson was smiling. Here, I said, handing him a packet of cigarettes and 5 shillings. For you. I can carry it the rest of the way. Oh, boss. Thank you, boss. Go on, I said, and say hello to your family. Waving, he ran away. So the next story follows a similar theme. Although this song I'm about to read is not actually from my collection, but it's based in apartheid South Africa. So similar context, and the character of Samson makes a reappearance. So I'll now read Cobras in the Compost. In the late summer of 1967, we were living near Johannesburg, South Africa, in a large bungalow, 5 rooms, with about 2 acres of land developed into a magnificent recreation of an English country garden, the legacy of my parents' nostalgia. Besides numerous varietals of rose, we grew mimosa, bougainvillea, and arum lilies, along with oranges, lemons, apricots, peaches, and figs. The property ended with some mulberry trees, beyond which a narrow dirt road led into the veldt. Hidden under pine trees near the servants' quarters, an intimidating mound of pungent, moist green-brown, the compost heap had expanded over the years into a very large insect-infested pile of mowed lawn, rotting leaves, and discarded vegetable matter. Fearful of what lay within, I was nevertheless captivated by the strange heat emanating from the interior. The warmth occasionally attracted visitors. Late one evening, Samson perceived movement as he washed under the tap near his room. He immediately informed my parents of the situation. You ought to stay out of the garden until further notice, said my father. And Tosh too, keep him inside. Seems likely 2 wrinkles are nesting in the compost heap. We'll try and get them tomorrow. Seldom more than 1 meter long, with a black or dark brown body, white bands near the head, the Rinkels is also known as the spitting cobra. An aggressive snake, fast-moving, very venomous, they are common throughout southern Africa. Early next morning, In the chill of the still dawn air, Samson and my father hid, observing the heap. Nocturnal creatures, the snakes would return to hide during the day. They had to be killed together, otherwise Samson would leave, fearing that the bereaved mate would seek revenge. Rumors would spread, we might have difficulty finding another Zulu. Sure enough, a slight stirring and one serpent returned, followed shortly by the other. Armed with a fork and a large stick, Samson rapidly raked the heap, while my father killed both snakes. I was allowed to view the results, fascinated as Samson held a limp, hose-like body. He shouted Zulu, "Very bad snake, now dead, little master." "Cobras," said my father, lighting a cigarette. Smashed in the detritus about 20 eggs, yellow and sticky, quite unlike hen's eggs. The remains of the tiny unborn offspring, perfectly formed amid the gooey destruction. A month or so later, Samson was fired for drinking my father's whiskey. You can't fool a Scotsman. He'd been replacing what he'd drunk with tap water. The morning of his departure was the first time I saw a man crying. I missed my best friend. My father retired and the house was sold. Dreaming of an England that never was, we boarded the RMS Pendennis Castle in Durban, expected destination Southampton. Transplanted from Africa to English boarding school, I quickly forgot Zulu and my feet grew soft. 45 summers on, Johannesburg has spread. The house is now surrounded by suburbs. A nearby mall and a freeway have added to its value. The garden is still a kaleidoscopic idyll of rose bushes and fruit trees. The compost heap exudes its warmth in that shaded area near the servants' quarters, and in the chilly nights, it attracts the occasional visitor.